Hi guys, welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to talk about how to use OpenAI assistants to talk to your own files with Python. At the end of this tutorial, you will have a script where you can use to communicate with your files with Python. And then you can use that script to kind of do anything you want. So let's get started. So first things first, we need our OpenAI API key and we need to set up certain things on OpenAI. We come to OpenAI's website. They've changed it up a bit, and the login is surprisingly hard to find. It's in the footer. So we want to come to the login and go to the API section here. First and foremost, we need our API key, which is like a password or an identifier for your own account. You want to go to dashboard here and go to API key here. Create a new secret key. Remember, you'll only be able to copy it at the time you create it. So after that, if you haven't copied it, you would need to create a new one. If you do create a new one, that's okay, especially for the purposes of testing and learning. I've already created mine and copied it over, but this is where you'll be able to do it for you. Now we'll create a vector store. So you want to come to storage here and click on vector stores. This is the folder or the database where your files that you'll talk to will go. Again, we'll go into more details in future videos. Right now, all you should know is this keeps your files in one place and converts them in a way that chatbots, AI models can talk to them. So we click create here and we get a vector store. So let me just name this assistance tutorial vector store, just so I don't get confused later. And once we have created it, we want to upload our files to it. So today for this tutorial, I will be using the earnings reports from Apple 2024 Q1 and Q2. So those are my two files here. I'm going to upload them. Let's wait. Okay, cool. They're uploaded. And then I will attach. And we can see Q1 was uploaded. What happened to Q2? Let me refresh and just check. Weird. It seems like Q2 didn't get uploaded. So let me just upload that as well. Great. Attach. Cool. Now we see Q2 here as well. So now that our files are in the vector store, again, this is the storage area. We now need to create a way to communicate with these files. And for that, we'll create an assistant. An assistant is an open AI or an AI bot. If you use other tools, these things are called agents. So assistants is OpenAI's version of an agent. ChatGPT, for example, is an agent. Again, we'll dive deeper into what agents are later. Right now, all you need to know is there are a way for us to communicate with files and get answers that are more intelligent, more reasoning based than simply calling an AI model. So we'll create an assistant here. And once again, let's name it something. It's just nice to name things in programming world so you don't get confused later and keep things consistent. So OpenAI assistants tutorial. Oh, looks like I created a new one. OpenAI assistants tutorial agent. Don't worry about creating a new one. That's okay. Here we're going to provide it instructions. So you are a financial analyst. You read and respond with accurate data from companies' financial reports. Do not use your own knowledge, only respond with information found in the documents. Cool. So this will let our assistant know what kind of agent it is, what kind of assistant it is. In this case, it's a financial analyst. We're going to pick our model here. So you have all choices for all these different ones. For this, since especially it is almost an extraction bot, it's not really using too much reasoning, we'll go with GPT-4o Mini. We're also very big on 4o Mini here because it is cheaper and faster. So works for this use case. We want to enable file search here. And this is where we will add our file store. So we have vector stores and we can go to it to copy the ID. So if we go to the vector store, here it is. We're going to copy the ID here and we're going to paste it inside the vector store here. Great. Oh, that will open it. So don't click on that. Just paste it and select. And now what we have done is we have connected that storage area to our agent. So we'll be able to read from that directly. Here, code interpreter, we don't need to turn that on. We're not running any code. We're not running any functions yet. This is, again, going to be very simple. We'll dive into this later with different use cases. Response, form, text. Yep, that's great. Temperature is randomness. So in this case, since it's going to be a very cut and dry bot, we want it to provide us information. We actually want the temperature to be very low. So I'm going to put it all the way as close to 0 as possible. There you go. Top P is kind of expanding the vocabulary of the bot, you can say, in a way. It's okay for us. We don't need to change that. We'll keep it to 1. It can use kind of different words. But we definitely want to reduce randomness, so we put temperature to 0. And there you go. Now we have our assistant. Great. So make sure it's saved. So it's saving right now. Okay, cool. And we want to copy the ID of the assistant here, because this is what we'll be using in our code. After this point, everything will be done in our code file. So let's get to it. I have a Python file here that we're going to use. Let's go step by step, and I'll be referencing our tutorial, which is, again, linked in the description that you can use. So these first 2 lines here, this is for me to get my OpenAI key because I'm using an environment variable. You don't have to. I'm doing this so I don't have to show my key on screen. So ignore the first 2 lines if you're not using an environment variable for OpenAI key. If you can put it directly in this line, OpenAI API key equals the OpenAI. So we don't have to worry about that. Let me make a variable for my assistant's ID, and then we can talk through the rest. Import time, this is a standard Python module. We'll see why we're using it later. And then OpenAI is the library that we would want to install. So I go to my terminal here. I'm using a virtual environment, OpenAI Assistance, so that whenever I install something, it's not installed for my entire computer. It's restricted. So here I'll do pip install OpenAI. I already have this installed, so this comes up. For you, there will be other messages. For this, make sure that there's no error messages that come up, and it should be pretty straightforward to tell if you see any red appear here. That means it's an error. If you do have any of those problems, drop it in the comment and I'll try to help out as much as I can. So we have our OpenAI library installed. We have our key set up. We have our assistant's ID. Now we're ready for the code. So I'm going to go to our tutorial and go down all the way to the full script here. So first we need to create a client, an OpenAI client. And again, if you were to put your key directly here, that's okay. I'm getting it through another file, so that's okay too. But ultimately, we can use that same variable OpenAI API key. Next, we want to create a thread. So a thread is a collection or conversation. So if you've used ChatGPT before, that conversation on the left-hand side, that's basically a thread. Now we're creating it programmatically. So we have our thread ID here. Next, we're going to attach the message through the thread. So thread message, this is where the message will go. For us right now, I'm doing it very simply. The user message is what were the gross margins and profits in Q1. So you put it here. And let's print it out in just a little neater format. So let's do like user message. Next, we want to run this. So here is where our assistant will come into play. So this code will take our OpenAI client, take the thread, this thread that we create, take the run from the thread, create a run, and here we'll provide our assistance ID. So this is each time we're calling the OpenAI assistance, that will be the run, and we can monitor things like that, like if run wasn't completed, if it was still running. That's what this code is for, is to monitor things. When you're making this live, you definitely would not want this, but you can use this for other things. For example, if it's still not completed, you can print a getting answer, or you can use that to control a progress bar, things like that. So you can modify it to fit your own use case and to see when it's completed or not completed. For now, we're printing out the status and if it's complete or not. Cool. So we have that. Now we get to the message, the fun part. So our message response is, we're going to call the threads, the message, get the list from the thread ID, get the messages from there, get the latest message, and here we'll respond with what message. Cool. So moment of truth, time to run the script. I'm in the folder where the script is, OpenAI assistance.py. And we have the thread in progress, in progress, in progress. It's taking some time, so hopefully it's looking at the files and coming up with an answer. Let's see. This is a good sign though. Thread ID in progress. Completed, great, okay. Bot message in Q1, Apple reported the following financial metrics, margin, and net income. Now you can do a lot more with this. So if you see, for example, just the 4.0 source here, the things that are returned from this, they also contain citations and sources that we can use to display those sources somewhere. Obviously, we want to create an app out of this. We need a UI, we can deploy it. And we'll cover all of those things in future videos, so stay tuned. For this one, I hope this was clear and good enough for you to get started with OpenAI Assistance. If you encounter any problems, again, feel free to drop a comment, and I will try to get to as many as I can. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.